Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Workshop Wednesday for the AGH Art Gallery of Hamilton. My name is Tyler, and today I'm going to walk you through some abstract perspective drawing. So the main thing we're kind of looking at, you see the example in the thumbnail, is we're looking at drawing these kind of cube shapes that kind of float in space. And as always, if you're here to follow along, you're more than welcome. Here's the supplies. Or if you're just here to kind of relax and watch, that's great too. We're happy to have you either way. So this video or this stream will be up afterwards. If you missed a part, or you can rewatch it. Something like that. So to begin, the supplies, really anything to draw. So pen, pencil, colored pencils, pastels, whatever you like. I like to use permanent markers, pencils, and pastels. Paper, any kind of paper is good. I like to use nice large paper, especially when I'm trying stuff out and learning stuff, because then you got lots of space to sort of move around and experiment. And then a ruler or a straight edge. So I have a nice long one here, and I have a short one. If you don't have any of those at your disposal, really anything that gives you a nice straight edge. So this clipboard can really help. If you don't have a ruler handy, anything that can help you draw a nice straight line like that. A book helps, or like even a sheet of paper if you're careful with it. So pretty simple as far as materials go. Essentially what we're going to be working on today, like I mentioned, was floating cubes. So what I'd like to sort of start with is a bit of a kind of a diamond shape like that, kind of a square that's been tilted. And then it can be longer for a rectangle. Okay, that's just the quick kind of thing, right? And then you can add different ones on top or below. Okay, in a nutshell, this is kind of what we're looking at. We're building these three-dimensional shapes. We're drawing on a two-dimensional surface, but we're going to then combine them and build them together. All right, so let's move this aside so I can have a nice big work area. I'm going to keep this handy for my reference. And I have sketched lightly some stuff down on this just to help myself out a little bit. But I'm going to be drawing over it nice and dark and adding some things to it. So the first thing that I'm going to add or put in here is what's called my horizon line, which is a nice, long, straight, solid line. For this activity, I'm going to put it closer to the bottom half of the page. And like I said, I did it with pencil before, and now I'm just going to make those lines nice and solid with my permanent marker here. Let's move that over. All right, and once I have my line going across the page, I'm going to put two dots that are called vanishing points. So I got one right there and one right there. I'll put a big arrow to them so you can see. Vanishing point number 1. Vanishing point number 2, and this is my horizon line over there. There. All right. So any lines that we draw on here are either going to be going straight across this way, straight up and down, or they're going to be connecting to one of these two dots. So if you're drawing something, if you're drawing a line and it's not going straight up and down or connecting to these dots, then it might be a little, it might look a little kind of oblong and wonky, which is fine and great because we are doing abstract. So these are sort of some guidelines. If you don't want to use these, by all means, you know, you do not have to. And I'm going to place my ruler straight up and down. So it's, you know, I've got a horizon and I've got a vertical line here. And I'm going to draw, I'm just going to go ahead and draw a big line all the way up and down, just like that. I can erase some stuff later or color over it. Doesn't matter. And now you get to decide how high you want your cube and how big you want your first cube to be floating in the sky. So I'm going to start it up here, and then it's going to go all the way down to here. So this is going to be the bottom, and that's going to be the top. And I'm going to connect these points. I'm going to do a little bit of connecting the dots here. All right. So I'm going to draw this lightly. Well, it's darker for me, but I am going to go over it with marker once I'm done. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the sides. I'm going to do one side there and one side there. So these, again, these are going to be straight up and down lines. They're not going to be angled like this or like that. They're going to be straight up and down for me. And I'm just going to go from this one here down to there. I'm not going to go all the way up and down, just in between, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. All right. So this doesn't look like a cube just yet, but now we do a little bit more connecting the dots. This is where it might get a little bit tricky. If you've done this before, then you know, but if you haven't, you've got to do a little bit of crisscrossing. So I'm going to take this point and connect it over to this one, right? Connect the dots, just like that. And then I'm going to take this corner here and connect it to this one, so that my bottom lines, they cross over each other. Just like that. So now I've got some extra lines in here. I'm going to keep them for now, but just so that you can see what we've done, I am going to go ahead and outline our floating cube. Just like that. So at this point, you could erase all the rest of the stuff, but like I said, I'm going to keep it there just as a reference for any other stuff. And to help sort of see it more sort of three-dimensional, you can shade one side in if you want. Shade that in a little bit darker. You can do the bottom. We can also work on that a little bit later, right? This is what I have over on this one. This was the first cube I made. I got a purple on this side, blue, and then white over here. That helps sort of define the sides from each other. All right, so now I'm going to add something, a few more cubes on here to get a bit of a kind of a floating group of blocks. So I'm going to start kind of the same way with a straight up and down line. I'm going to do it over here this time. And I've already got this line here, so I'm going to keep that one, and I'm going to draw a whole nother one down here, and I'm going to line this up with my bottom point. Like that. All right, and then this point here, I'm going to connect the dots with this one. And I'm just going to sketch a little bit, not very long. Okay, I'm doing this cube a little bit differently than I did this one because it's attached to it. And then the bottom here, this one here, I'm going to connect to this line. And now I've got a little branch thing kind of sticking out. So let's draw that in. And there we go. Now we have kind of an upside down L shape thing going on. All right, so now I'm going to draw maybe another floating cube that's not attached. And start the same way as before. So nice long vertical line here, and then I'm going to decide how tall I want my cube. This one's going to be smaller. And then these points, I'm going to do my connecting of the dots. Now it's helpful in this point, or it might be helpful, getting a little bit confused over all these lines here. So maybe now's a good time to kind of erase some of these so I don't get completely confused. And I can maybe try and ignore this one here. Oh, my ruler is not quite long enough. That's okay though. I'm going to make it, just kind of eyeball it. And if you don't want to do all the rulering, you don't have to. This is just if you want it to be like, really precise. Okay, so the sidelines, they're going to go straight up and down. And I could make it a cube like this, or I could make it a long rectangle and have it way down here. That would be fun. And now this point, I'm going to connect to there. And this one connects to there. Here, just so you can see. That's where those lines connect. So I've done the same thing that I did here, but I've done it over here. And now I'm going to sort of sketch or make those lines a little bit more solid. There we go. And if you want to, at this point, you can have a little bit of fun with it. Maybe if you don't want it to be abstract, you can start to, maybe add some doors or some windows. You can have like a floating city. You can easily freehand some of these, just sort of putting some cubes in like that if you want to. Kind of like that. And then, like I mentioned before, you can add some color, and I'm going to make all of the surfaces that are facing this side one color. So I'm going to do kind of a darker blue. I'm just doing a pastel, just rubbing it on the side, just to go a little bit quicker. All right, and then I'm going to use a separate color, maybe a lighter blue. This is going to make it really pop out. On this side. Like that. Oh, there's another one up there I missed. And then maybe for the bottom, I'll do a darker color. Like I'll do this black. There we go. Now I've got some fun floating cubes there. Now that I've done my color, maybe I can go over with a thicker marker, give those lines a little extra definition. So you can keep adding more and more cubes as you like, which is what I did here. I started with this one and then I did this one and I added some little branches. You can keep doing that as much as you want to create a giant floating cube structure, which is super fun. All right, and there we have it, some abstract perspective drawing, some floating cubes. What we've been, like I said, what we've been trying to do is get some shapes that really look three-dimensional and look 3D on a flat two-dimensional surface. And this is a couple of ways that you can accomplish that. So thanks for watching with us. Thanks for joining. It's been a pleasure, and feel free to join us again next week. We'd love to have you back.